Hello, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky University Career Services video on tips for video interviews. As a video interview is still an interview, the information for preparing for the interview and answering questions remains the same. With the video interview, however, there are a few additional steps you should take to master your interview. Leading up to the interview, we would encourage you to check your technology. While technology can be really great, there can also be times when it is not reliable. This makes it important to test your technology before your actual interview. Think about it like a dress rehearsal for a play. The director would not have the actors go on stage without at least one lifelike run-through before opening night. In the same way, to be the most prepared for your video interview, you want to have a dress rehearsal. During this practice run, you want to log onto your device to test out the software you'll be using, like Zoom or Skype, to make sure they are working properly and you know how to use them. You may need to download a program or software for the video interview. If that is the case, this would be a great time to download it and become familiar with it so you know how it works before the actual interview. Testing your audio is also important. You want to make sure that your microphone and speakers are functioning properly. If you are using a microphone on your headphones, practice positioning the microphone so your audio doesn't cut in and out. You also want to plan your lighting for your interview. As the employer can see you, you want to ensure the space you are in is not too bright or too dark, and that there are no glares on your screen. I have found the best lighting is when the light source is directly behind your camera. As your interview is dependent on the technology you are using, you want to ensure that your device is fully charged and potentially plugged in during your interview. You certainly do not want your interview cut short because the device is out of power or to have to interrupt the interview to plug it in. Make sure that you have a technology backup plan. Asking yourself, what will I do if something doesn't work before the interview, will help you develop a backup plan you can seamlessly use during the interview if needed. This will demonstrate your ability to be prepared and show the employer how you respond under pressure. Next, you want to plan your setting for your interview. You want to select a location that is quiet and distraction-free for both you and the interviewer. Select a space that is free from noise distractions such as TVs that are on, people conversing, or pets. If you share your space with someone, let them know you will be in an interview so they do not interrupt you. The goal is for both you and the interviewer to be fully present in the interview and not distracted by other things in your space. You should also consider your distractions as it relates to your background. Remember, the person interviewing you will be able to see what is behind you unless you are using a virtual background. It is important to note that not all platforms will allow you to set a virtual background. With this in mind, select a space to conduct your interview where your background can be neat, clean, and professional. Remember, an unorganized, cluttered, or noisy background can reflect poorly on you as a candidate for the position. You also want to plan your attire for your interview. Just like for an in-person interview, you want to make sure you dress professionally. This demonstrates your professionalism and commitment to the interview. One of the basic elements of professional attire is a suit. However, if you don't have a suit, a nice button-down shirt and tie for men, or a nice top or dress for women are also good options. Remember, just like your background, you don't want your attire to be too distracting. Be mindful that you don't want to wear too much jewelry or jewelry that may be distracting. This is the same for makeup or any other accessories you may have. While statement pieces are nice and can add to a wardrobe, you don't want your look to be distracting for the person interviewing you. As you're preparing for your interview to start, you want to close any unnecessary browsers and disable notifications on your device that will be in the interviewing space with you. This would include making sure to silence your cell phone. This will ensure that there are no unexpected pop-ups, alarms, or ringing during your interview. This will also help prevent you from being distracted during your interview. Keep in mind that having your phone on vibrate is not the same thing as having it on silent. You also want to double check that your audio and video are working properly and that you don't need to implement your backup plan. We would suggest that you have pen, paper, your resume, and a copy of the job description with you during the interview. This allows you to make quick notes during the interview about things such as the timeline, skills that you're seeking, interviewers' names, answers to the questions you ask, and more. Having your resume and job description handy is really great because you are looking at the same materials the employer is likely looking at during the interview. It can also be helpful to have these materials close as a refresher during the interview. We would encourage you to review both of them thoroughly before the interview begins and have personal examples of how you have demonstrated the skills the employer is seeking. During the interview, you want to be conscientious of your body language, just as you would for an in-person interview. Making sure that you maintain good eye contact is critical, as it ensures that the person interviewing you knows you are paying attention and that you aren't distracted. We would encourage you to practice looking at your camera and not the screen when you are doing a video interview. Looking at the camera will provide the best eye contact with those that are interviewing you. You also want to be mindful of your facial expressions, making sure they match what you are saying and that you are giving off a friendly and enthusiastic vibe to your interviewer. Many people tend to use their hands a lot when they are talking, which can prove to be distracting in an interview. You want to be mindful of how much you are using your hands in your interview. Paying close attention to your verbal cues is another important aspect of your interview. You want to make sure that you are not talking so loudly that your voice is overbearing, but you also don't want to speak so soft that it sounds like you're whispering. In addition to your tone, you also want to be mindful of your inflection and the speed that you are speaking. You don't want your speech to be so fast the interviewer struggles to keep up with you, but you also don't want to speak so slow they wonder when you're going to finish your response. In order to combat both of these issues, remember to speak like you would in your normal everyday conversations. Also, remember to smile. This will ensure the employer sees that you are enthusiastic about the position you are applying for and the opportunity to interview with them. Practicing your video interviewing skills can help you hone these skills and become more comfortable with this process. Career Services offers two great ways for you to do this. First, you can utilize InterviewStream, an online video platform that allows you to complete a pre-made interview or build your own using questions from our robust database. Once you complete the interview, you can re-watch it and provide a self-critique and/or send it to Career Services to review and provide you with feedback. Another way you can practice is to schedule a Zoom mock interview with Career Services. In a mock interview, a member of our mock interviewing team will pre-make personalized interview questions that will be asked to you in an interviewing format. The team member will then provide you with feedback on what you did well and ways you can improve your interview. Both of these are great options for you to strengthen your interviewing skills. As you prepare for your video interview, let me be the first to wish you good luck and remind you you've got this. Again, if you would like to practice your interview, please contact Career Services using the information provided on the screen to set up a mock interview with a mock interview team member. This has been the Northern Kentucky University Career Services video on tips for video interviews. Our contact information is provided on the screen. If you have any questions, please reach out to us via phone or email. Thank you for your time and have a great day.